Hi everyone, in today's tutorial I'm sharing my step-by-step guide for how to carry out a brow transforming tint and wax treatment. I'll share all my techniques, tips and products so you can achieve amazing face framing brows for your clients. Let's get started. First step is to thoroughly cleanse the brow area. Even if clients come without makeup, you want to ensure you clean the area to remove any makeup residue, natural oils produced by the skin, and environmental factors such as pollution. I use a cotton pad with cleanser on it and wipe over both brows and the surrounding skin. I then use a dry cotton pad to remove any residue and dry the area ready for tinting. My client likes a natural soft brow and has a neutral to cool skin tone, so I make up a custom colour tint with mid-brown and an ash to flatter her colourings. I apply with a fine angle brush. I like to work as precisely as possible and almost create the shape of the brow I'm looking to achieve for my client. I use a fine tip cotton bud to clean and crisp up any edges or smudges. I then wait for the tint to develop. Timings will vary for this step based on the brand that you prefer to use. To create a more natural finish, I remove the tint at the front sections of the brow first and let the colour develop a little deeper on the midsection to the tail of the eyebrow. Naturally, eyebrows tend to be more sparse and lighter here, so this helps create the natural look my client has asked for. I then remove the rest of the tint from the brows using cotton pads with a small amount of tint stain developer lotion on them. This will neutralise the tint and stop it from darkening or developing any further. I don't fully map out the brow shape for this client as we're just waxing today and I've been doing her brows for many years, so the shape to me is obvious. However, I will use a pencil to create a guideline for the wax. My client uses retinol as part of her skincare routine. This is something that you need to find out during your consultation. I advise she stops using it 5 days prior to her appointment, and I use a barrier to reduce the risk of skin grazing. To do this, I first apply a light layer of post-wax lotion and then a light layer of powder over the top. Now I'm ready to wax the eyebrows. I'm using a cream warm wax and I apply it with a long manicure stick. I use the doe foot end to pick up a small pea-sized amount of wax and then distribute it just underneath the guideline, twisting the stick as I reach the arch and the end of the eyebrow. Then I take the stick and push the wax upwards towards the line. With small trimmed wax paper, I remove the wax in 3 sections. Apply the paper over the wax in the direction of the hair growth. Press down with medium pressure. Then stretch the skin and swiftly pull the paper off in the opposite direction to remove the hair. I use precision waxing application techniques, so I don't worry about overlapping the paper onto the brow. But if you're a beginner or not confident about your wax application, line the edge of the paper with the guideline that you drew earlier with the brow pencil. This will ensure you don't remove any hair that you wanted to keep in the shape. I then repeat these steps through the centre and onto the other brow. Avoid waxing the eyelid as the skin is very thin and delicate, and the hair in this area is best removed with either tweezers or threading. After waxing, I use a soothing lotion to help calm the skin and remove any wax residue. I now check the brows for hairs lower down on the eyelid or any that may need to be removed to create the perfect shape, and I use my tweezers to remove them. I take a brow wand and brush the hairs upwards into place, and I trim any longer or wiry hairs that don't sit well within the shape. Avoid over trimming or cutting off too much brow hair, as this can result in spiky hairs that won't lie flat. To prep the brows for the finishing stages, I apply a very light amount of concealer under the brow. I use a fine angled brush to dot the concealer along the brow line, and then I blend into the skin. I use the brush and a cotton bud to help to blend. This will cover up a little of the redness for my client and also makes it easier to see if there are any further hairs that need to be removed. I then repeat these steps on the other side. To finish the brows, I apply fine hair strokes with a brow pencil to fill any gaps and create a little extra definition. I use the mascara wand again to blend the hair strokes into the eyebrow and keep them looking natural. Some final brushing and blending of the makeup and a little bit of further tweezing helps to really perfect this brow transformation. And now, here are the results. If you've enjoyed this step-by-step guide and found it useful, I'd be grateful if you could click the like button, subscribe and share this video with others that you think might find it useful. It really helps me to continue to make similar content. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.